From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Peter Murphy begins now.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. The Prime Minister has given Tasmania's Boyer Mill a $24 million funding boost in a bid to secure local jobs and electrify the facility. It's Anthony Albanese's latest announcement on the campaign trail as Labor aims to shore up votes in the marginal seat of Lyons.
Tasmania's more than 80-year-old Boyer paper mill has struggled to keep the dollars flowing in an era of smartphones and tablets, but the Prime Minister is hoping to usher it towards a clean new future.
This is about new industrial opportunities. It's consistent with our Future Made in Australia agenda.
Pledging $24 million towards electrification of the factory and secure the jobs of its 310 workers.
This announcement goes further. It actually looks to the future. It looks to be ensuring that manufacturing continues here.
$9 million in upfront support will go towards keeping its operations going and prepare major investments to decarbonise and diversify its production. $15 million will assist the rollout of electrified upgrades for the long term.
Will assist in achieving our vision for the Boyer Mill, respecting our history while transitioning from a single-use site to a sustainable, multiple-use facility.
The facility boils up to 80,000 tonnes of coal a year, imported from the mainland. Anthony Albanese confident the investment will help the mill bring its carbon footprint down.
You bet it'll make a difference. You bet it will make a difference.
While in northern Tasmania, cost of living relief was on the cards for the coalition, spruiking the benefits of its promised $1,200 tax offset for Tasmanians.
Just did our budget the other week actually, and we're not really growing any savings currently.
Things are a bit tough at the moment. It's hard to make ends meet, and we know that providing that genuine cost of living relief is what we need to see.
Labor believes their $1,000 tax deduction goes further.
That is just another short-term sugar hit. What you're seeing from Anthony Albanese and Labor is a plan for permanent tax cuts.
With marginal seats in Lyons and others in the north potentially up for grabs, there's much to play for between the major parties in the island state in the race to polling day. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, a rally has been held with Labor and union officials in Hobart, opposing the Coalition's plans to wind back the public service. Peter Dutton recently abandoned plans to scrap working from home, but wants to shrink the workforce by 41,000 staff over 5 years through a hiring freeze and natural attrition. There are concerns that will leave Tasmania and other states worse off.
It's simply not possible for Peter Dutton to achieve his 41,000 job cuts from the public service without cutting jobs and services here in Tasmania.
Not only will there be no loss to frontline services whatsoever, but I stood next to Peter Dutton just 2 weeks ago when he said there would be zero impact to public service jobs here in Tasmania.
The Coalition claims the move would save around $24 billion. Controversy is swirling around the government's decision to scrap the projects of state significance route for the Macquarie Point Stadium. The Greens now accusing government officials of exerting undue influence over legal advice to legitimise bypassing the planning processes.
It's legal advice that gave the government the green light to abandon the project of state significance process for the Macquarie Point Stadium in the wake of a scathing report by the Tasmanian Planning Commission into its assessment and feasibility.
Minter-Ellison provided a very robust legal advice to the Macquarie Point Development Corporation in which they said that the report contains errors of law, approach and analysis.
That advice now under fire, with the Greens questioning its independence, accusing the government and the group behind the build of interference.
The government has been caught red-handed and it is now dishonestly portraying this so-called advice as legal advice when it's nothing more than a political brief to give him a smokescreen to abandon the POS process.
In a statement, a Mac Point Development Corporation spokesperson says this is normal process when seeking this type of advice, and matters raised in that advice were identified by the legal team. The government still full steam ahead with the project, despite fierce backlash.
We believe it stacks up, it has merit, and it is an incredible opportunity for the aspirations of the next generation.
It's now relying on public feedback submissions to draft the legislation, which is expected to be tabled next month. The move likely to pass in the lower house, but in the Legislative Council, the government still needs the support of 2 independents.
The POS process would have ensured a vote of Parliament. The new legislation will ensure a vote of Parliament. So it's essentially the same result for us parliamentarians.
But the opponents are calling the move undemocratic.
The reason that you have a POS process and that you have planning legislation for major projects like this is that so the Parliament can make an informed decision. The Parliament can't make an informed decision if you remove that process for political purposes.
Still, business groups argue the stadium could bring enormous economic benefits.
If you're going to bring 25,000 people or so into Hobart, every weekend or every second weekend throughout the whole year, it's going to be a massive economic boom for our industries.
We need to make a decision on this stadium. We need to get on with it. It's time to start building.
But many are asking, at what cost? Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Now, after weeks of dodging questions about his future, Launceston's mayor has confirmed he is here to stay. Matthew Garwood had hinted he was reconsidering time in office amid the fallout from a social media post with a controversial singer and a no-confidence motion against him.
Personally, I'm feeling very well supported by the community. The last 3 weeks have been a challenging time at council, but feeling really well supported, a lot of learnings.
Mayor Garwood says he's ready to work with his fellow councillors on a positive way forward. And a new report commissioned by the Health Department has shed light on our state's suicide crisis. The assessment reveals that nearly 700 Tasmanians died by suicide between 2012 and 2020. Men were almost 4 times more likely to take their own lives than women, according to the findings. The highest suicide rate was recorded among those aged between 35 and 44, with nearly 2/3 of those who died having at least one diagnosed mental health condition. And if you need help, Lifeline is there on 13 11 14. TasTAFE's Drysdale campus is set for a major transformation, becoming the new school of visitor economy. The rebrand is set to include a modern approach to training, designed to better connect students with real-world experience and strengthen Tasmania's growing tourism and hospitality workforce.
It allows us to review all our product offerings and also to continue to invest in and develop our people and our staff.
We'll be more closely connecting industry with the School of the Visitor Economy and really working through some of the challenges together around how do we communicate with our younger people.
The refreshed structure will offer hands-on training in areas like cooking, butchery and even sport leadership. The world's eyes will firmly be on Tasmania this winter, with the Launceston Running Festival granted a new World Athletics label. The upgrade sees the race become the highest-ranking half marathon in the Southern Hemisphere.
The secret is out.
This is the biggest news in Tasmanian road running history.
The Launceston Running Festival now has a World Athletics Elite label.
No other event south of the equator has one,
making it the highest-ranking half marathon in the Southern Hemisphere.
We've known for a long time in Tassie that it's a really good fast course, and now we're able to share that news with the world because this puts us just on a higher platform.
Great opportunity for Launceston and Tasmania to be the focus of the running world for that first weekend in June.
The status upgrade already attracting plenty of elite interest.
We've been inundated with athletes from Europe and Asia and South America.
With a bigger payday on the line, it's on track to be the largest field yet.
Last year was $2,000 to win, it's now $8,000. We've got a Tasmanian record only bonus, and if you can break the world record here in Launceston, you'll earn $20,000.
And it's a big win for local champions too.
Tassie's Tassie, you don't have to leave, you can thrive here just as much as anywhere else.
Eyeing off another crown on the iconic course.
It's flat, it's certainly very flat, it's very spectator friendly.
The June 1st race has just taken on even higher stakes. Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Tasmania's future basketball stars have been putting their skills to the test. Minty jack jumpers taking to the court, joining in on several holiday clinics showing the team how it's done.
The next crop of jack jumper stars taking to the court, giving us a glimpse of what the future could look like.
I've been playing it since I was really little, when I was 5.
These pint-sized plays among 200 participants aged between 5 to 13, jumping at the chance to play over the school holidays.
We're running all these holiday camps at the moment. Actually, over the next 2 weeks, we'll see about 250 kids all across the state, heading up to Lonnie and Burnie next week.
Honing their skills to see if they have what it takes.
Layups, dribbling and some defence. You have to shoot from far back sometimes.
The search for future recruits starting early, turning to these tiny tackers, giving them a taster. The potential future pros already loving life on the court.
It's really fun.
What do you like most about playing basketball?
That you get the feet and you get the dribble.
The clinic's aiming to get more kids into the sport, with participation numbers already showing promising signs for the club's future.
Just absolutely taken off down here. The sport's never been so popular.
It's also hoped clinics like these continue to encourage more girls to take up the sport.
Do a number of girls-only sessions. It's really, really positive to see a bunch of girls here. Hopefully when we can get that WNBL team in the future.
I really like Milton Doyle, Magna and Jordan Crawford.
Rebecca Gadaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
Well, don't worry about Gaga tickets. A session at the newly reopened Launceston Bike Centre is the hottest ticket in town. Online bookings opened this morning with more than 9,000 people swarming the website in just the first few hours.
Asking the community to be patient, keep refreshing and keep looking through if you're having a little issue or two, and just being really aware that, there's a lot of people going through this one. The bookings throughout to June have been astronomical already.
So far, around 400 sessions have already sold out.
After a whopping 2,443 days between wins, you'd be forgiven for needing a refresher on your club song, but that wasn't the case for Circular Head. The Saints snapping a 6-year drought with an 89-point win over East Devonport, and their celebrations were just as wild as you'd expect.
A long time coming, so I've never seen so many people in the club rooms at Smithton, and the crowd was enormous. So it was a really huge day for the community. And
now, all the Saints are confident they can get a few more wins on the board.
Good evening. It was a cool day in Hobart today, 14 in fact, 18 in Launceston and Burnie and 19 in Devonport. King Island saw 20 degrees, 19 at Low Head and at Smithton, Flinders Island and Strawn 18, 16 at St Helens and Bushy Park, Friendly Beaches and Grove both 15 and 14 in Lyweni. Low cloud is seen evaporating over the state, the east coast, parts of the northwest and central west. A band of thunderstorms moved over southern WA. Scattered afternoon convective cloud sits over interior parts of northern WA, the NT and northeastern SA. Tomorrow, a high ridge of pressure will extend from Tasmania and to the majority of eastern states. East-northeasterly winds up to 30 knots in northern and western waters. Southwesterly swells to 2.5 metres in the west and south. A gale warning has been issued for coastal waters between Low Rocky Point to Stanley, and also for waters between Wineglass Bay to Southeast Cape. It will be fine and mostly sunny in Hobart tomorrow, 20 the top. Fine also at Adventure Bay on Bruny, 19. Tarraleah are in for a frosty start, -3 the overnight low, but warming to 17 tomorrow. Launceston partly cloudy, 20 the maximum. Cloudy in Devonport, 18. 19 and cloudy also at Bridport. Cloudy skies in Burnie, 18. 20 and mostly sunny in Strawn. 20 also for Marrawar, but windy there. Cloud extending to the east, St Helens 18, 19 expected for both Swansea and also Whitemark. Forecast for Wednesday, isolated showers mostly about the south and parts of the west. Possible light showers continue in the west and south on Thursday, and unfortunately it's looking wet across the state this Good Friday, with the exception for Whitemark. Further across mainland Australia now. A couple of showers in Sydney, Brisbane, Cairns and Darwin tomorrow. Fine in Perth and Melbourne, 26, remaining warm in Adelaide with 32 degrees there. Hobart mostly clear, 11 degrees, a little chilly. Launceston mostly clear also with 12 and partly cloudy in Devonport with 14. Well, Murph, you've well and truly been outnumbered by your fellow Geelong colleagues in the studio tonight. Remind me, how did the Swans go last weekend?
Well, Kai, I have spoken to you before about being professional. Looks like more training is in due course for you. Thanks for that. We'll see you tomorrow night.